competition's very, very tough. Are you looking for a close race?
Yeah, I think I'm trying to work through my way and try my best, so...
Okay, try your best, that's all we can do. So that's just a few minutes to go before the start of the next DRS62 race. 26 drivers, there are 10 drivers who are not rookies, and then the rest of the field with the black plates and the white numbers are all rookies. We'll go back up to the commentary position, and it's great to hear some of the comments from the youngest drivers here in the Daniel Ricciardo series just before they go out and race. Finney Watson on row 1 and Jake Bell on row 2. We'll be back very shortly.
Over there.
So you can see down on the dummy grid. Welcome back, meanwhile, to the live stream here, courtesy of Alpha Live, of the third round of the 2019 Daniel Ricciardo Series at Shenington Kart Raceway in Oxfordshire. And there's a reason that you're watching drivers moving karts back and forth is because one driver, I believe it's number 100, Hudson Cross, is not present on the grid for this next race. Not quite sure why that is, but 26 drivers is now down to 25. And everyone has to move over a position because Hudson was due to start 4th. So everyone's got to now swap over so we get the correct side of the grid for their revised grid positions. It's always good to, well, it's always good to see the dads and mechanics put their backs out as they're moving karts yet again. They must lift these karts hundreds of times over them. We don't see that, oh dear. Hundreds of times over the course of a race weekend. And there's all the rookie drivers at the back of, the middle and the back of the grid. Grid Marshal Megan there, moving everyone around and making sure they're in the correct position. There's number 105, thumbs up from one of our rookies. That is Max Haller. And Max was very quick in dry practice yesterday. The last 2 practice sessions that we had were on time practices. Were dry, and he was quick. There's the number 117 kart of Jacob Ashcroft. And again, this is Jacob's first appearance of the season, so it's his first time here in the DRS series. And these young drivers, they're the youngest. They're aged between 7 and 12. There we go. Stylish from Ruben Edwards. I'm surprised we haven't seen any sort of Fortnite dances. I was going to say, where's the dab? There it is on cue. The number 91 of Lucius McDermott. Thumbs up there from Lucius and his family. And there's some good sport in there. There's Max Haller there. These young drivers, 9 years old. They're fierce rivals on the track, but most of them are very good friends off the track. There's the number 116, Daniel Weir, who just came to the DRS Academy yesterday and decided he liked it so much. He came and stayed and raced as well. So it's his first race meeting. And Daniel Weir in kart number 116 is there on the grid. He'll be starting from 15th. Then it's the number 101 kart of Jamie Warner. Only 8 years old, one of the youngest drivers in the field. Jamie looking to improve on what is 22nd place in the championship at the moment. There's young Sherry-Ann Powell with a big wave, with a big smile as well. Sherry, she's bouncing around the paddock very quick yesterday. And Sherry, she has already started turning heads with a 7th place finish at Glenagore. She's top 10 in the championship at the moment, one of the leading rookies in the series this year. And Sherry will be looking to make good progress. There's number 114, Hadley Simpson. Hadley Simpson getting himself ready. So one of the oldest drivers in the class at the grand old age of 12. And the signal has been given, so moving out of the way, there's the number 24 kart of Freddie Cox. Freddie will be starting 19th, just behind Hadley Simpson. There's Hadley Simpson with the Bentley motif on his visor strip. Further back, there's Jasmine Taylor in kart number 84. Jasmine starting 21st on the grid, and you can see them just putting their hands down. That's just to take, you can see those 2 black holes there on the airbox. When the engine starts, they just put their hands over that there just to stop the air going in, to make sure the engine starts nice and cleanly. There's the 92 kart of Ewan Scott. First timer here this weekend. The back of the grid, Max Winfield, Riley Price, Aaron Mensah and Daniel Sabula. So Sabula, the leading rookie in the championship, 7th overall at the moment. He had a great top 8 run going in the first heat, which of course was won by Aidan Hassan, the championship leader. We'll go through the grid very shortly on, you can see a virtually fully dry track. There's a little bit of moisture down at Stratford Corner, which they're going to have to be a bit careful of. And of course offline, there's still a little bit of residual moisture, but blue skies overhead. You get a chance to see some of the gliders at the local glider club just behind. There we are, just on cue. The glider club, he's got a bird's eye view of some fantastic racing, which is going to begin very shortly. Race number 4, the second of the DRS62 heats. Joshua Turnbull and Finley Watson on row number 1. Jamie Scott and Hudson Cross not on row 2. It's Jamie Scott all on his own. Craig Evans is now starting on the outside of row 2. Then it's Jake Bell and the championship leader Aidan Hassan starting 6th. Then it's Jamie Gurney is next up. In kart number 4, he had a good result in the first heat as well. Archie Harrod. So the drivers that finished 1st, 2nd and 3rd are all starting 7th, 8th and 9th in this one. Then it's Ali Hussein, Mackenzie Taylor and Max Horler, Jacobs Ashcroft and Ruben Evans, Lucius McDermott and Daniel Weir. In the next row it's Jamie Warner and Sherry-Ann Powell, Hadley Simpson and Freddie Cox, Ewan Scott and Jasmine Taylor, Max Winfield and Riley Price, with Aaron Mensah and Daniel Sabula next on what is a 25 kart grid now, with the unfortunate absence of Hudson Cross. But up at the front, the question is, how long can Jacob Turnbull and Finley Watson hold off the advancing Aidan Hassan, Jamie Gurney and Archie Heron? 1st, 3rd and 4th in the championship. Craig Evans up there as well, so lots of drivers in the top 5 near the front of the grid. It's been a false start, so one thing that I've seen a couple of today is false starts, and of course Matt Daniels, the clerk of the course, has got to make sure that he is happy with the formation and the pace, so that these young drivers, they've got a lot to think about. Maybe a couple of nerves. You can see there on the inside line of the run down towards Stratford hairpin that there is still shiny, damp tarmac, which the drivers and slick tyres want to stay clear of if at all possible. But now the entire track, within the space of about 20 minutes, has gone from soaking wet to completely dry. And the sun is shining, although I have to say that yesterday morning and early afternoon there was enough rain to sink a battleship. And it's quite deserving, especially for the officials on circuit, not to mention the parents, the families in the paddock, a lot of who were camping here at the circuit. The atmosphere in the paddock is very jovial and cordial. And there were plenty of people camping out here at the circuit last night, and they deserved for it to be dry. Are we going to get a clean start this time around? The answer is yes, we are. We're racing. The poleman Joshua Turnbull getting passed on the outside by Finley Watson. Jamie Scott also making a good start into Cafe Corner. Finley Watson, who we spoke to earlier on the grid, has taken the lead as everyone files out of Cafe Corner, through Pitts Bend and down towards Stratford Corner. Around the outside there comes number 7, Craig Evans, side by side with the number 5 kart of Aidan Hassan. Hassan making good progress already and is up into P3. Evans hanging tough on the outside line going into the Bruno chicane to hold on to second place. But it's Finley Watson, Craig Evans, then Aidan Hassan third. The number 6 cart of Archie Harron runs in 4th place. Up to the inside goes Craig Evans for the race lead. Aidan Hassan trying to go through. Oh, making it 3 wide. And Finley Watson just runs a little bit wide there coming out of Wilkins. Hassan leads, Evans second. And then it is Archie Harron up to 3rd. So Finley Watson slips back to 4th place. Hassan now coming into press though. Evans gets a nice tight run out of Cafe Corner, wheel to wheel through Pitts Bend. Evans tries the crossover move. Craig Evans looking particularly racy here in the early stages, and Hassan comes across to defend going into Stratford Corner. Can Evans get a good run up that runway straight towards the Bruno chicane? Heron is 3rd, Watson is 4th, Scott 5th. Then it's Gurney in 6th position. The top 6 are breaking away already. Gap back to 7th place. Evans now coming into pressure from Archie Heron. Heron to the inside, down Hanger straight into Hanger Corner. Evans holds him off, and around the outside comes Finley Watson. Watson goes around the outside of Hanger Corner on Archie Heron to pick up P3, and now Heron gets caught up a little bit with the following cart of Jamie Scott. Scott there just running up over the back wheel of Heron coming out of the Wilkins complex. That's going to slow them down. But up at the front, Aidan Hassan and Craig Evans. Well, Hassan now trying to break away. Evans and Watson trying to work together. Warning flag goes out for Jamie Scott. In the number 9 cart, you can see Scott following Heron through Stratford there with Gurney just behind him. Then there's a gap back to the leading rookie is number 102, as you can see. Somebody running very wide there coming out of the Bruno chicane. But Mackenzie Taylor, a squeal of tyres as number 76, that's all. Sherry Ann Powell goes for a spin coming into the Bruno chicane. There's Freddie Cox in cart number 24. Cox is currently running 14th at the moment. Sherry Ann Powell was already up to 13th when she spun at the Bruno chicane. There's a move by Daniel Sabula in cart number 113. He was starting right at the back of the field in 26th position. He's already passed most of the rookies. He's up into 13th place going past Ali Hussein. Finley Watson gets a warning flag in cart number 104. Aidan Hassan leads by 0.6 of a second over Watson, with Evans right behind him in 3rd place. Then it's the 6th of Heron, the number 4 of Gurney, the number 9 of Scott, and the number 83 Turnbull. Then it's Lucius McDermott now, the best of the rookies in cart number 91, 8th overall, followed by Mackenzie Taylor, Max Haller, Jacob Ashcroft, Freddie Cox, your top 12. Hussein, Sabula, Mensah, Simpson, Warner, Scott, Weir and Price round out the top 20 as Evans now battling to hold off Watson, Heron and Gurney through Wilkins. But all this squabbling over P2 is allowing your race leader, just flashing through your screen, setting the new fast lap of the race at 52.274, Aidan Hassan. He's got a lead of over 1 second now. 25 drivers started this race, 25 drivers still running that drive. There's a move up the inside for Gurney on Heron going into Stratford Corner, and you can see the frantic signal from Gurney to say, come on, push, let's work together in a line, otherwise he's going to get away. Lucius McDermott in 8th place. I think he's actually picked up 7th place from Turnbull. But there is Evans now leading this train. He's having to defend a little bit going into Hanger Corner to stop Gurney from making a move. Gurney up into 3rd place. Gurney having to defend side by side for 4th between Heron and Watson. Heron picks up P4. And there's an abandoned cart there at the side of the circuit. Trying to see, we'll catch a number. I think that might be the number 114 cart of Hadley Simpson, who is out of the race side by side at Cafe Corner. And another one's gone off. That's the number 102 of Mackenzie Taylor. Stationary, that's coming out of the Wilkins complex. He's just waiting for some clear track. And yellow flags waving. That'll be down at Stratford Corner. So that's probably for the Simpson cart. You can see at the side of the track there. So no overtaking going past that. They come back into Bruno chicane, and one of the marshals had to retrieve that from the side of the circuit. 3 minutes to go. Evans looking over his shoulder. Gurney looks to the inside, going into Hanger Corner. Can't make the move stick. Heron on the outside now. Can Heron do the crossover move? But he leaves the door open for Finley Watson. Finley Watson sees a Ricciardo cart size gap. And as he squeezes Heron doesn't back out, has to go over the grass, and that will drop Heron back to 8th place. So Lucius McDermott now up into the top 6 as Gurney passing Evans for 2nd into Cafe Corner. So Jamie Gurney passing Craig Evans. And you can just see flashing through the top of your screen now and again. Driver with a green crash helmet, that's your race leader, and he's 3 seconds up the road. Aidan Hassan making it look easy once again. Oh, Gurney there forced wide by Evans, and there's that cart still at the side of the circuit. See the yellow flags waving. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Well, we'll see if they readjust the positions or what the official story was there, but certainly there was that yellow flag waving on the run down towards Stratford. Evans now hugging the inside line. Gurney's going to try and get a good run on him coming out of the Wilkins complex. Watson is right behind him. Then it's Scott in the number 9 car, Jamie Scott, and fighting back is Archie Heron. Lucius McDermott also in this group. Side by side, Gurney trying to go around the outside of Park Bend into Cafe Corner. He makes the move stick. Evans will try the crossover move side by side coming out of Cafe, wheel to wheel, inches apart at over 50 miles an hour. Now the run down towards Stratford again. 90 seconds to go. There's the move from Jamie Scott. Still that cart on the outside of the circuit. Craig Evans. So that penalty. Oh, and Evans, just as we come into Bruno Shakor, you can see him outside, outbrake himself ever so slightly. He runs into the back of Gurney there as he tried to get on the brakes, and as he tried to slam brake on the brakes harder to stop himself piling into the number 4 cart. The back end is looped around, and Gurney and Evans spins. Gurney also with a penalty because that was overtaking under a yellow flag, but that's going to really adjust the order at the end of the race. It's not going to affect the race leader Aidan Hassan. It is going to help people like Jamie Scott, Finley Watson, Archie Heron, Jamie Turnbull, Josh Turnbull, apologies. Then Lucius McDermott in 7th. Jacob Ashcroft is 8th. Sabula is up to 9th, from 26th to 9th for Daniel Sabula. Horler is 10th. Mensah 11th. Cox is 12th. And then Hassan in 13th place. Look at these rookies really heading towards the front, keeping the experienced drivers on their toes. Very, very impressive indeed. And of course, all these cars, identical equipment, engines, chassis, some of the gearing and sprockets have got to be the same as well to not only keep costs at a reasonable level, but also level the playing field and let the driving shine through. As we can see, as the clock almost striking 0, Aidan Hassan is on lap number 10. Gurney, Watson, there is Scott and Heron with Turnbull right behind them. 4th, 5th and 6th on your screens now. Coming out of Cafe Corner, Lucius McDermott with that green and white crash helmet has got Jacob Ashcroft right behind them. They're 7th and 8th. Craig Evans has dropped down to 20th place, but there is another penalty forthcoming for him and Jamie Gurney, don't forget. So Gurney is driving under there'll be a penalty added to his race time at the end of this race, I'm sure, or whether it'll be a positional penalty or a time penalty, but certainly both him and Evans raising the ire of the officials, possibly due to the little bit of contact down at Wilkins, but also overtaking the yellow flags. Have to wait for the official word. There goes Heron to the inside of Jamie Scott for 4th place at Wilkins. Textbook manoeuvre at Wilkins, ducking out late to the inside, getting the cart slowed down in the apex. Of course, it does leave you susceptible to being repassed down Park Straight at the end of the lap, but he managed to hold on. This is the final lap. Aidan Hassan once again streaking away to a 5.5 second lead. Gurney, Watson, side by side. Now Watson, he's not to know that Gurney's got a penalty forthcoming, so he's going to be going for 2nd place. He checks over his shoulder just to see if he's got enough room to make a real stab at Gurney without being passed from behind. Here's the battle coming out of the Bruno chicane now. Gurney trying to hold on. Watson goes around the outside. Watch him cut underneath Gurney now, maybe coming into Wilkins. No, he's going to go around the outside. Now he's going to try and get the run onto the final straight. Aidan Hassan takes the checker flag in the win. It's side by side. This is the slipstream, the drag race to the line. Gurney holds off Watson for 2nd place on the road. Heron finishes 4th, Scott 5th. What a drive for Lucius McDermott to come home in 6th position. Sabula is 7th. Then it's Josh Turnbull in the number 83 cart who finishes in 8th position. 9th is Ashcroft, 10th is Max Horler. Aaron Mensah is 11th. Freddie Cox in 12th place. Ali Hussein is 13th. And what a recovery drive from Sherry-Ann Powell to finish in 14th place. Craig Evans 15th after that spin. Riley Price, Ewan Scott, Daniel Weir. Number 103 of Max Winfield is 19th. And Jasmine Taylor rounding out the top 20 ahead of Jamie Warner, Jake Bell And the rest of the field, Mackenzie Taylor, Ruben Edwards, and Hadley Simpson, who retired. Sadly, we didn't have Hudson Cross at the start. So that is the first fully dry race of the day completed. We'll go down and try and speak to our top three and then get a word from some of our DRS 100 drivers. Up next. So there is Aidan Hassan gets out of his cart. So a little bit of a consternation down in the scrutineering bay. We'll lifts up on the cart there. I'll get out of the way. Well, come and speak to Aidan again. Well, Aidan, doesn't seem to matter whether it's wet or dry. Your cart is sorted and you can just drive away.
Yeah, it's a track I really like. This is my favourite of them all. I've been here for a long time, so I'm pretty used to the setup.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously you know your way around there. Talk us through that first lap, because you went from third to first down at Wilkins. That was a good move.
Well, Craig went down the inside and he forced Finley out the way. And I thought, let's just go for it and pull away.
Yeah, and of course then you were able to just pull a gap. And how hard is it to concentrate, you know, when you're that far in front? You just got to worry about your own lines and not worry about the drivers behind.
It's pretty hard because you have the whole pack behind you and you're like, what's going on, what's going on?
Well, congratulations, 2 out of 2 for Aidan Hassan, and he'll be looking to make it 3 out of 3 in the next heat. So we'll move across. You can see the scrutineers now. For those of you that are new to karting, at each race the karts come through scrutineering. They go over the weigh bridge and then they have their various items checked. Each driver has to fill out a scrutineering card before the start of each race, which has got tyre numbers, engine numbers, chassis numbers. And they've got to use those tyres for the race, and at the end of each race the officials will check that to make sure that everyone's using the correct equipment. Now here is Jamie Gurney. Jamie Gurney. I'll help out there. So Jamie, you can see the carts are there, and for these young drivers, there's a minimum weight limit for the class. They've all got to put lead on the cart, which makes the cart even heavier. But of course, to level the playing field out, some of the drivers are obviously taller than others and heavier than others, so the carts are weighed up with the amount of lead to make sure they all weigh the same as well. Doesn't help the mechanics, or their backs rather. You know, the dads and the mechanics, they're the ones that have got to lead this. So Jamie, let's come in while the officials check the thing. Well, that was one heck of a race there, wasn't it? There was lots of battling going on.
Yeah, I didn't have a great start, but then I got my way back up, and then I slowly overtook each one, had a bit of a battle with Craig, and then I eventually pulled away at the end.
And so obviously in the dry there, apart from Aidan, you've got a bit of work to do maybe to catch up with Aidan. Is that what you're going to be focusing on now for the next race?
Yeah.
Excellent, congratulations, that's Jamie Gurney. So that's the top 2, and also a little bit about what happens after each race. You see all the carts prepared before they go out, but there's a lot of work that goes on between each race to make sure that the carts are prepared and ready. And you can see, for those drivers, for those of you watching karting for the first time, you're thinking that, oh, aren't the heavier drivers, the taller drivers at a disadvantage? The answer is no, because they haven't got quite so much of this lead on the cart.